Hey guys, it's Mark from 42freeway.com. Happy June 1st. Spring, summer's here. You know what that means. We're all going to be driving to vacation places and weekends down the Jersey Shore. It brings concern of traffic. So I thought this would be a good time to do a video update on the traffic projects I've been covering. Guys, we're going to cover 8 different sort of significant efforts in the area. So you know what that means. Like, I can only be very high level here. If I put a lot of detail, and I know everybody has a ton of questions, if I put a lot of detail into each segment, this would be a 4-hour video. In fact, I wanted this online before Memorial Day. I spent an entire day doing this. When it was done, it was like an hour and a half long. And I said, you know what, no one's going to watch it, and I deleted it. So I've refreshed some of the video. We're going to do that now. I'm going to talk to you about the 8 different projects. By the way, I have a better video system here. It's going to be much easier for me to do these types of videos with the overlay. Look at that. I even figured out how to do like the nice pink mouse to, so I will point some things out. We're going to talk about the Direct Connect wall where they're tearing it down. We're going to talk about Browning Road, the rebuild of the bridge there, the I-76 over Klemm Avenue and the Conrail tracks. We're going to show you that. That's a big traffic jam for folks. The Route 130 bridge rebuild over Big Timber Creek, that comes off the Brooklawn Circles. The Route 47 bridge by the Gateway Diner, that's also slated to start somewhat soon to be rebuilt at the same time. The Blackwood Trail, so over Route 42 goes over the Blackwood Trail. They've put a tunnel in already. There's lane shifting that's going to happen there. They're going to keep the number of lanes moving, but you're going to be shifted into the center. Route 70, lane shifting, same thing, happening there. I think that's happening this weekend. And then lastly, I'm going to close with missing moves. So again, high level, going to move fast. You can fire off questions, but this is just a lot of content here. Anyway, guys, hang on. All right, let's jump in. As I said, 8 projects. We're going to open strong with a Direct Connection wall teardown, and then we're going to close with the missing moves. I'll probably spend a little bit more time talking about those 2 end projects, but let's dig in. Again, high level. So if you're not familiar, 295, the new 295 through Belmart's called Direct Connection. It did not open yet. It's under construction. A portion of the wall collapsed. I think everybody knows that. So 2 weeks ago, they finally started the effort to rebuild this thing. Before they can rebuild it, they need to tear it down. What you're seeing here is the crews in multiple trucks, multiple backhoes, and even at times, dump trucks to move the dirt out, in process moving things out. Now, this has been moved back significantly. A big portion of the wall here is gone. And if you just kind of assume that maybe like a bulldozer is maybe 10 feet wide, they're probably a good 10, 20, 30 feet back here, and then this grade is much more level. You could probably drive a piece of equipment down it. Well, let me show you. This video was taken the day before they started this project. I think it was the Sunday before, and they came in Monday morning and started. I had a little bit of a clue. Someone said, hey, I think this is going to happen. So again, all of this is gone. This is pushed back further, and look how steep this is here, And even this area, it's a little graded. You're not driving a piece of equipment down there. Well, look what I did for it. This is like the one piece of pre-edited video I did. Here's 2 of them side by side. This is today on the bottom, just 2 weeks ago on the top. All of this is basically gone. They've pushed this back. Now, the angle's not exactly the same. So, from what I could see, there's a seam here. They've taken it back to this seam. And then, look, this dirt and soil was pretty much at the edge where the concrete panels were. Look how far back they are. This whole wall is exposed. So they're making great progress in 2 weeks. This whole area is not, the panels are gone. And again, if I didn't say this already, they've built like a temporary raised area. It makes it easier for the trucks to access the higher portions of the road. Of course, they got to get dump trucks in here to, when they to put the soil and the sand in to move away. But as they get lower and lower, they'll remove all this also. This is like a temporary landing spot. I just want to call this out in case folks see it. This was 2 weeks ago. This thing is moved, but I saw this piece of equipment here. There's also some drainage pipes here. So in a later contract, I don't believe they're starting it now. They will be, if you're coming from Cherry Hill, 295 south, and you want to go to the shore, you're going to actually have a roadway going underneath 76, almost like a little mini tunnel. They are not starting that yet, but I saw this thing, and I'm like, what is that doing there? Well, 2 weeks later, which was yesterday, here it is here. They've now moved it. It's over by the tunnel. Let me just say this, the traffic light, guys. The traffic lights are only if there's an accident or a disabled vehicle in the tunnel. I think it's a federal highway regulation. But imagine if you're down here doing 60 miles an hour and you have no idea that there's 2 cars are stopped in the lane. You don't know it until the last minute. So the idea is those traffic lights, they will go red to let you know that lane is closed. That's all it's for, and I think it's a federal guideline. So you got that piece of equipment there. I don't know what it's for yet. I'll try and find out. There's so many questions I have for NJDOT, and those folks are awesome over there. They're very responsive. And I'm not the only guy asking, so I can't just pepper them with 1,000 questions. Moving on. Second location. See, this one's taking a little longer. Browning Road. This is the where they're rebuilding the bridge. This is the temporary bridge. You kind of got to go jangled, whatever that word is I'm looking for. When they finish this, they want the bridge to be straight like it was before. So they've rebuilt the columns here. As you can see, there's a set of columns there. They have not touched these. I'm going to come back to that. The other big effort they've gotten done is on the far side here. This used to be like kind of straight, and there was the concrete for the support of the old bridge. All that's gone. It was a pretty thick, massive piece of concrete. Looks like they're getting close to the point where they're ready to rebuild sort of the concrete structure that will maintain the bridge on this end. On the side underneath the drone, that's been completed for a long time now. So if you say 1, 2, 3, 4, sort of 4 entities of the bridge support structure, they got one done. One looks close to being done, the center column here. The far end point is in progress, and they haven't touched this center column. Last thing I want to say about this is you can see how they need room to put heavy equipment in there in the middle of the roadway. So they have to shift a lot of lanes. When this is done, they will be doing additional lane shifting. I don't know when that's going to happen, but they're going to have to move things around so they have the same amount of like a 40-foot wide space in there. But they've been doing a good job maintaining, NJDOT and the contractors, of maintaining a set number of lanes there. That's not what's causing the traffic. This video I took yesterday, 2:30 in the afternoon on a Wednesday. This is what we're doing. Now this is, Deptford's down here. This traffic's heading towards Philadelphia, Cherry Hill, and look, it's jammed up. And I know it's frustrating people. What's happening here is over in Gloucester City, they're replacing the overpass of I-76. It's like 14 lanes. It goes over Klemm Avenue, Conrail tracks, and they've had to reduce the lanes. Well, let me show you what the next picture, which I posted on this once before, but I thought, let's talk about it. Did I get that stopped? Okay. So this is like 3 weeks ago. What they've done is they split the road into 3 segments. You have the segment here. This is going towards Philadelphia. This is coming back home, for us folks on 42 to Deptford, Gloucester Township. And then they have another third that they're working on. So a few weeks ago, this was all ripped out. There is a center movable divider like they have on the Benjamin Franklin and Walt Whitman bridges. So the idea is, depending on the flow of traffic, morning rush hour, more people going to Cherry Hill and Philly, and then in the evening rush hour, it's the reverse. The reason why you get that crazy traffic in the prior clip, though, is, in the afternoons, they're ready for folks to come home from Philly. They're taking 5 lanes of traffic on North 42, 76, and turning it into 3. So 2 lanes have to adjust over. I spoke to NJDOT about this. They actually said, they're well aware of the challenges here, and they're making adjustments so that they can sort of minimize impacts. But the thing you're going to ask is, guys, this project is not slated to be done until the fall. I'm going to show you when I start. Let me just start this now. They have to redo this rebuild, in the section here, the center section, and the end section. So the thing that really got everybody's attention with this project, and guys, I'm already too long, is this massive crane. I think the drone's about 150 feet high right here, and the tower is still larger. By the way, I'm FAA certified. I have to actually get approval from the FAA. They have an integrated app now to get approval, so that, they give me the okay to fly, because I'm literally in the Philadelphia airport flying space. So what I want to show is, in just a matter of a few weeks, remember that picture I had? I don't want to go backwards, but the exposed sort of support beams. Look, these are all panels. This is why they need this giant crane. They got this guy parked here. They need something that is long enough that they can attack all of these decking pieces, and then also be strong enough it doesn't tip over. So folks have been sending me messages about, over in Japan, they do this thing where they can rebuild a bridge in a weekend. We don't do that in the United States. A lot of this is covered by federal. You have to go by the federal guidelines. But what they did do in this project, something smart, is these panels were pre-built off-site. which is really the main reason why we need this giant crane. So when it comes time to put a piece in, they're not like pouring concrete here as they would do like with a roadway. This is already one massive large piece. I would love to get some video of that, and that's why they need this massive crane to be able to handle the weight of these giant panels, get them in place across all the lanes. I don't know if they're going to move it, but this thing's so big, I bet you they can cover the whole thing. All right, now we've moved over to Brooklawn, New Jersey, the Brooklawn Circles. There's actually two circles, right? There's the East Circle, which is where the Empire Diner is, and then the West Circle, which is next to the Delaware River here. Virtue's is there, amazing hoagies. So right now there's two big projects and a lot of interesting accessory pieces going on that I need to get more details on. But the Route 130 comes through the circles, and this portion of roadway here is actually Route 130. The bridge that goes over Big Timber Creek is going to be rebuilt. This video is about 2 weeks old, but I want to point out that what they were doing as of 2 weeks ago, there was a center divide down a portion of the bridge. They needed to get that out. My understanding is they're going to keep traffic flowing as they rebuild this bridge over, I think, the next 4 or 5 years. They're going to do sort of a shifted thing, I believe, like with Creek Road and Belmar, how they move traffic over to one side, rebuild a portion, and moved it over. So obviously you got to get rid of that center divider. So this is why in phase one they pushed traffic wide, and giving the construction crews space in the middle to remove the divider. Now I'm pointing here, you can actually see remnants of what I believe to be was the center divider. So again, this whole thing's being tore out. When I did a web post on this, I said, portions of this are 100 years old, and a couple people strongly corrected me. Absolutely in the 80s, they did a very large effort to rebuild this bridge, expand it, made it wider, but very clearly to the NJDOT, there are core elements of this bridge that are still like from the original build almost 100 years ago. So when you see these columns here, now I forget the term, and I keep forgetting to look it up. When you go to build a column in the water like that, you have to like push walls in all around it, and you pump out all the water so you have a dry space. Then they got to demolish those concrete supports and re-pour the new ones. They're doing exactly this on 295 as part of the missing moves. I have video of that. I'm not so sure. Maybe they didn't do that in 1985 when they did this project. Maybe those support pieces. I'm not entirely sure, but I will just say that a portion of this is old. But regardless, the whole thing needs to be rebuilt. Now I went back to this intentionally to show this again. The other doing is there was a building area. Again, here's Virtue's. There was a building here. I think at one time it was like a wicker gift store. That is demolished. This entire area here is going to be made into a giant water basin, a stormwater basin, to help with the flooding. So they're actually doing some aspects to fix the flooding in the circles. So I got two thoughts in this, and I don't know that if somebody knows the more details than I. My thought is, if it's rainwater that can't get out of the way, then for most of the flooding, then I could understand how the basin would help. You could funnel the rainwater into the giant basin. If the flooding, though, is because the Delaware River is just flowing, and this happens at times, the Delaware River just raises so high, I don't know how this basin is going to stop it. So, but it should improve things greatly. Maybe I'll reach out to NJDOT. I will add, though, there's another project for down here, when you go into Gloucester City in this area to address flooding concerns there. I think they're going to raise the roadway. Within the last year, there was a public information center that I missed, but I just found the video and the commentary, so I need to go through that. And the mayor, I think it was the mayor of Westville, was on this call. It was a Zoom call. He spoke of another project, another effort. So there's like 3 efforts going on to fix or address flooding issues at the circle. Now the railroad tracks are here. I also attended 2 weeks ago an independent information session on the Glassboro-Camden rail line. I have not jumped into this at all. I will very, very soon. People always say, oh, just raise the railroad tracks and then raise the roadway and you won't have flooding. The problem is trains can't go up a steep grade like a car can. So for them to raise the bridge here, they have to raise the railroad tracks for just an enormous amount. You know what? I'll save that for the next video. All right, so second project coming off of the Brooklawn Circles. So that was Route 130. This is Route 47. So the Gateway Diner is in here. You got the Westville Brewery up there. And we get to the Big Timber Creek and all the marinas. So guys, the Route 47 bridge is also going to be demolished and rebuilt. Now, here's the kicker. I'm not saying, in 5 years after the Route 130 project is done. No. They already have the proposals out. I believe they're already getting the construction crews bids back in. The Westville mayor did a post where he said he spoke to NJDOT, and absolutely there will be significant portions of time where both the Route 130 bridge off of the Brooklawn Circles and the Route 47 bridge off the Brooklawn Circles are both under construction. My understanding is they're going to keep traffic flowing on both of those. This project also is going to address some of the flooding. On the side near the Gateway Diner, I know at minimum it's going to be higher. Like right now it kind of goes, it dips down and water collects there. And they're going to raise that up higher so that the traffic stays above the like sort of the standard floodplains. I have to look deeper to see what that means for the property with Gateway Diner. Last thing I want to call out here, God, I'm already going too long, right? Is this square here. So I just had a message yesterday from someone. Hey, what happened to that marina bar that you wrote about coming to Brooklawn? So there used to be a bar right here on the corner. It was Private Eyes at one time. It was Bogey's. It was some other names. The owner, Bogey, who owned the land, is building a new bar, and it is going to be a marina bar. This is the actual foundation, the basement foundation. You'll be able to, when this is done, come up with your boat. You'll be able to go from the Coconut Grove in National Park to Camden's Wiggins Park to Philadelphia, and then come over here to Brooklawn, park your boat, and do your sort of like boat restaurant bar tour. That being said, I don't know what's going on with this project. This foundation, it seems like it's been sitting there at least 6 months. So I'll try to reach out to the family to see how things are going. There's our Westbrook bowling alley. Moving on to a completely different area. I'm going back to Route 42. This is the Blackwood, the Route 42 over the Blackwood Trail. So see this tunnel here? Guys, this tunnel is basically done. Now I'll take a half step back again. There used to be Conrail lines going through here, large train lines, and they were there before Route 42 was built. So when they made 42, they put tall bridges. There's actually two bridges. There's one for the northbound, one for the southbound. When the NJDOT folks look at this, they say, well, we need to rebuild these bridges. They're getting old also. The thing that's changed, though, is they no longer run trains on those train tracks. In fact, the train tracks are long gone. Gloucester Township is now using that space. It's paved with asphalt as a pedestrian trail. It's like the Gloucester Township Health and Fitness Trail, and biking, pedestrians. So the federal government, NJDOT, wanted to be good folks. They didn't want to just fill this up with dirt and stop the pedestrian trail because it continues on both sides. So they built this tunnel. It is a larger tunnel because what I read was some of the utilities, you got these high-powered lines said, look, if there's emergency services are needed or we need to get a utility equipment down there because the power lines are out, we want to know that we can get a truck through there or a fire engine. So they got this, it's a very large tunnel. This is probably an 8-foot-high fence. So this thing, I forget, it's like maybe 12-foot high. See the flag there? That's an indication, I believe, that the construction crews are saying this portion of the tunnel is done. So that's happening. Now we're going to move on to the next portion of the video here. This is where some other lane shiftings, or the first segment of lane shifting is happening. So this is the aerial view of, this is the tunnel we just looked at. You see it's individual segments. I actually have video of this. I should have prepped it. They built the concrete sort of vertical walls first, and then each one of these individual segments is a precast arch that they dropped in with a crane. I was there when they put in like the last arch. So that's going to support. As I said, when they rebuild this thing, it won't be a bridge anymore. This will basically just be a roadway because they're going to fill the top of this with dirt. This concrete arch is designed to support the weight of the dirt, the roadway, and the trucks. So it's two bridges. I want to call out, see this asphalt in the middle? The way they're going to tackle this is they're going to tear down and rebuild one direction at a time. So this is the northbound side. I believe this is going to be first. See how this is angled, and you got the asphalt here. What's going to happen is, and I don't know when. They told me they don't know when, but it feels like it's getting close. The 3 lanes of the northbound will be shifted over to the center median and riding on this asphalt. It almost looks like there's sewer grates there, like water management. They're going to ride on there, and then they'll be able to rebuild this. So they're going to tear down that bridge, backfill it with dirt, and basically make it a roadway that's going to be over top of the tunnel, which is in this segment. So, which is 2 interesting points I'll close with here, and I'm already way too long. This used to be hollow in the middle. Like these are 2 independent bridges. So the fact that this asphalt's here shows you they've already progressed to the point where they've been backfilling the dirt over top of the tunnel. They have the asphalt here. The other thing I want to point out is see how the tunnel is actually much wider than the roadway. They're not adding additional travel lanes to Route 42, but what they are going to do is give longer auxiliary acceleration and deceleration lanes. So if you're coming in, you're trying to get on a 42 and you're coming in off an exit, the way it's kind of done now, when they built this thing in the 50s, it's a little short. They want people to have a little longer running length to get up to speed. And even when you're getting off of 42, you don't want to be doing like 70 miles an hour, and then you go to get off of 42 in this area, and you just don't have enough room. So actually, I think both of these are coming onto the roadway, north and then south. So anyway, this tunnel's longer because 42 will be wider here and 42 will be wider there, but it's really just so they have those acceleration lanes. Let's move on to the next project. All right, this will surprise you that I'm talking about this. This is the second set of lane shift that's happening. This is Route 70 in Cherry Hill. Now, I did write about this project. This is a big, over $100 million project from, through Cherry Hill down to Marlton Evesham. They're rebuilding it, new utilities, just, smart signaling, the whole gamut. They're going to be doing something similar in Washington Township in a few years. It's all grass and dirt in the middle. As you can see, they've done the same thing that I just showed you with the Blackwood Trail. They asphalted the center of the roadway and painted these lines. What they're going to do is, and I think it starts this weekend, they're going to shift, one of the lanes. This is, down here is, Pennsauken, Philly, and in the distance there is Evesham to give you a direction. So the direction heading towards Evesham, I'm confused. You're going to end up after this weekend, I believe, in the center, so they can then focus on rebuilding all this. They're putting all new utilities in, new gas lines, new just whatever. They said to all the utilities, look, we're doing this. What do you need to do? Because this is like the one chance you're going to get in the next 50 years. So, and then when that's done, they're going to probably move the lanes over here. So that's all I got to say about that. That's several years to go. Let's move on to missing moves. So this is like the gem of all the projects. There's a lot of great projects we're talking about, but this guy, gets beat up. It is a different project than the Direct Connection project. This is a $200 million project. The missing moves means you can't go from 42 North, which we're looking at here. You can't go from 42 North and then head over to 295 South. Likewise, you can't come from 295 North, say from Delaware or Paulsboro, and then head down to Atlantic City. You got to get off. You got to drive through Belmar. You got to drive through, all the towns. So first off, I want to point out, 42 North, this is the new, you're gonna veer off here, and this is the access road that's going to get you to missing moves. There's actually not a lot happening in this segment because guess what? It's like really done. Look, you got the sewer grates there. You got, they need to put some guardrails there, of course. But we're gonna whip around. I'm gonna stop again in a second. So this is the ramp, 42 North. And you go off to the right, and here's the ramp. Now this area here is the new exit that they relocated first. And look, this is all concrete paved. This is the new exit. People have been using this for a couple months now. Where am I going here? Oh, I go back around. Maybe I could have went a little faster with the drone. Don't they know I have a timeline? I'm trying to keep this thing short. So this is one of, over top of 42 and over top of 295 at the other end, where like the last horizontal segments put in. Guys, look, I filmed this yesterday. I haven't been calling that out. I filmed this yesterday or 2 days ago. This is all solid concrete. I firmly believe you could drive a car all the way across from 42 all the way around now. We're going to take a look at the 295 side. People have been asking me, well, what? Like they're getting excited, like this is going to open for the summer season. I don't believe it is. We will be driving on this later in the fall, but there are aspects of this, specifically like where this connects to 295, that still need to be completed. Plus just all the guardrails and the lighting. They're doing pretty good here, but not across the whole project. And again, so we get the broader view here. If you're coming from 295 North, you're going to be on this lane here, follow my pink arrow, and you got your own ramp, and you're going to go down to 295 South. That'll get you to Atlantic City over here. But all of this is done. They've been working in the middle here. I believe what's happening now is they're not adding, say, full travel lanes to 42 North, but they are also going to be turning Route 55 into that giant overpass for you coming from Deptford on Route 55. It's only been one lane, but it's super wide. That will become 2 lanes. So they need additional lanes for several miles. And in fact, that right-hand lane of Route 55 is going to be like a straight run. I'll talk about it in a minute, but it'll be a straight run to connect to this missing moves piece. Do I go anywhere here? I don't remember. Let's move on to the next one. So I just wanted to point out too, the old exit for 42 North here, let me look around, was back here in the distance. And what they've done is they've pretty much finished that. They still left a curve to, I can't see, to access here. That, I believe, is really just for the state police. The Belmar State Police barracks are right here in behind the Wawa, and between the Wawa and the Sunoco. And they're covering roads from 295, the expressway, 42, and they like the idea of just having this quick and easy access. If something's going on 295 in Cherry Hill, like boom, they can just get on and go with it. So that's what that is for. Oh, I forgot I had a closer view. So there you get a better view of it. And look, they've kind of redone the dirt here and smoothed it out. They're probably going to put some sod in. We're moving on now. Now we're at the center of missing moves. This is like the second location. Now I want to just clarify the direction. I've kind of reversed the angle camera. 42 is out here. Gloucester Township, Deptford's down that way. So we were just looking at that bend coming over 42, and I said it was all concrete. This is where we're going. We're now in the center area, and look at this, guys. You got the concrete dividers are in. I can see metal guardrails there. The guardrails aren't here. Look, the lights are in, nice graded. So they saved some money here, which, hey, we're all for that, right? The entire roadway is raised, but that doesn't mean it's all built as a bridge. So it's much cheaper to do this with raised earth. Now I'm going to add, no one has said this to me, but the developer who was looking to do things in the landfill had been asking for an exit off of this roadway. Can we get an exit that'll get us to the landfill? And the state said no. But I wonder if the fact that area there is dirt, if they ever do decide to put on and off ramps off of this segment of the road for the missing moves, it'll just be so much more easier, right? If it was all a raised bridge construction, the cost of like connecting to that raised bridge has got to be more expensive. So that's Creek Road there. We're going over top of Creek Road. The lawnmower store is below me. The softball clinic was here. I don't know if they're still there. So this is the other overpass over 295 that was also one of the last things to be done. And guys, look, as I said, it's all concreted. There's trucks there. So, if you're coming from Gloucester Township and you want to get to 295 South, you're going to traverse here and you're going to go through here. And this is Creek Road Bridge, which they have had completely rebuilt, made it higher. I have new footage of that. I don't know if I forgot to maybe put it in my collection here. And then again, coming from Paulsboro, Delaware, this is where you're going to go. And then you're going to go back over that center section. And here's the Creek Road. I think I neglected to, well, let's see. I got more clips here. All right, yeah, I neglected to put the Creek Road thing in. So I want to show here, I haven't talked a lot about this. So here's the landfill. This is what we were just looking at. There's the curb over 295. This area here, they're literally like doubling the width, it seems, of 295 across both bridges. The reason why they're doing that is back to what I was saying with 42. They need the auxiliary lanes, the very much extended acceleration and deceleration lanes. The federal government wants their federal highways to move fast and safely. They don't want people having to slow down. If you're on 295 North here and you want to take missing moves, which is that ramp, they don't want like a little short ramp. They want you to have a really long run so you can just continue to do your speed. You think about when you go to Wildwood and you take the Atlantic City Expressway and you take, exit 7S, like that's a really long run. And in fact, it's even 2 lanes wide to get off. So to facilitate that, they had to literally build all new bridges. So see all this here? This is all new concrete columns into the water. They had to build those structures and, drain the water out. I have video and photos of that too, where it was all hollowed out and, the folks were in there. But you can see this is, actually, I think I took this shot. No, this is 2 weeks ago. So they're not going to jump ahead and turn on the Missing Moves project unless all of this is done too. Like there was a reason why they needed these long auxiliary lanes, and they're not going to do it. So this thing, they're going to work all through the summer on this, but you can see this is exposed. Hopefully they get these moving fast. I have a couple clips here. I don't know what I got going on. Let's see what's the next one. Oh, this is a closer view. As you can see here, this is like fully done. Again, guys, I apologize. I probably should have put the earlier clips from like 3 months ago. Like these were literally in like coffee cans, like the old coffee cans, and they were building the columns inside there. Number 4 is, look at this great shot. This is the Big Timber Creek. You have Philadelphia in the background. This is, the Route 130 bridges are down here. And then we're going to cross, soon in the Belmar Lake in this area. A lot of my screen is blocked by the camera in front of me to get the right angle. And then this gives you the perspective. This is Creek Road. This is where the Missing Moose project is and where we just were. I thought I'd just add that in for fun. The last shot, and we're at the end here, is This is old. This is from early May, maybe a month ago. This is 42. This is that 55 overpass, 55 north. It was over 42. As I mentioned, it was built very wide intentionally. Like, they think of these things, and a little bit of credit, they think of these things decades in advance. Let's build this extra wide because we know as part of the larger plan, this will be 2 lanes. So it's going to be 2 lanes, and it merges into Route 42. And I just sort of want to explain some of the center work that's been happening. Well, the guardrails in, there's new requirements. There will be a center divider there, but you already have 3 or 4 lanes, and they're going to bring 2 lanes, from the bridge in, and they don't want cars merging, slowing up again. So they're going to have to extend 2 lanes down 42. And my understanding is, one of the aspects is you can shift over, when this thing's done. But if you're in the rightmost lane of 55, if you just stayed in that lane, you'll be able to just drive all the way through it, and it'll just basically take you onto the Missing Moves project, which is down here, and then you can go to 295. So like, if you're sitting out there in Glassboro right now, or thinking of towns, Pittman, and you're like along Route 55, you'll be able to take 55. We should have a better traffic situation here because there'll be 2 lanes through, and just kind of nicely cruise down around Missing Moves, and then you're on your way to Paulsboro or Delaware for tax-free shopping. I didn't say that, Governor. All right, so I think that covers everything. As I said, 8 different sort of key construction efforts. I'll see how long this darn thing is when I edit it. I'll probably still be over an hour, but I'll be back to focus on individual projects. I got a really nice set. I should take a picture of my setup I have in my house now. It works really nice. I got great audio, great quality video, and it just kind of flows nicely. So thanks guys for watching. Have a safe and happy summer, but I'll be back with a lot more video. I'm finally going to do my video podcast within the next few days.